In lesson 6.3, writing two-step equations, we're going to keep working on 7.EE.4, the standard there, using variables to represent quantities in a real world or mathematical problem and construct simple equations and inequalities to solve problems by reasoning about the quantity. What we're going to do is you're going to learn how to write equations to represent mathematical real-world problems and interpret those equations to represent real-world situations. More than one operation may be needed to represent a situation as an equation. A variable represents what is unknown in a problem. The words of the problem can be translated into numbers, variables, and operations. The order in which numbers are presented in an equation does not have to match the order that numbers occur in the problem statement. And a verbal description can be written to represent a two-step equation. The first thing we're going to work on is how do we model that using algebra tiles. So if we look at the box here in item C, this line right here that we have is split right there. That's our equal, which is this piece right here. Okay. So then what we have to do is how can you model the left side of the equation? Well, here's the left, and of course here's the right, which is what B asks us to do. This, remember, this represents x, okay? This is our variable, and you put a plus sign if it's positive and a negative sign if it's negative. This represents our constants, okay? So that could be like, say, 4 or 12 or whatever. So we're going to look to put in, how can you model the left side of the equation? So you're going to write out, I'm going to put in 3 of my x variables here. How can you model, I have to also put in 4 negative 1s. On the left side, how can you model the right side of the equation? Well, I'm going to put in 5 positives. So when we draw that, it's going to look like this. And then we put in positive. So there's my 3 x's. So for my negatives, put in 4. But to help me out, I put in my negative sign there. So I have the symbol, the rectangle represents the x. I also put it in a positive. And then my square represents a constant. So there's 4 there. And then on this side, I'm going to put in 5. Then the plus sign to represent my sign. And there you go. Use algebra tiles to model the equation on the mat. So 3x minus 4 equals 5. So now we're going to go ahead and start writing two-step equations to represent real-world problems. We're going to use numbers, variables, and operations. Okay, so remember, operations, plus, minus, multiply, and divide. So we go through and we highlight our important information. 460, the fee is 40 when you join. The rest is paid monthly. Write an equation on what you'll pay monthly. Okay. So we have step 1, we've identified our important points. We're going to let M represent the amount of money. Okay. So we have a one-time joining fee of $40. We have a fee for 1 year, so there's a year, there's 12 months because it's a monthly, and then M is going to represent M for month, and then the total cost is going to be $460. So we're going to write what you see. Just kind of a little easy term that I've come up with there to help everybody out. So now looking at, we write what we see. Here's the one-time joining fee of $40 plus 12 times the cost per month. So because we're trying to figure out what it's going to cost us each month, and we're going to pay a total of $460. So now we go ahead and we write the equation. So 40 plus 12m equals 460. The more you practice this, the better that you'll get at it. So here on the your turn, we have Billy has a gift card with a $150 balance. He buys several video games that cost $35 each. After the purchases, his gift card balance is $45. So this is what we start out at. We start here. Buy, okay, is that add, subtract, multiply, or divide? and then this is what he's left with. Okay, so if we write what we see, okay, so we got $150. Buys mean that you have money going out. So you're going to subtract money, and it's $35 for each purchase. So let's go ahead and use G for games, okay? And then we're going to be left with $45. So now you have, write an equation to help find out how many video games Billy bought. In this section, it talks about writing a verbal description of a two-step equation. So what you're going to do is you're going to, in this example, take 5x plus 50 equals 120. So now you're going to be kind of creative here and trying to put words to this. And they go through and they give you an example. So x is a solution, so it's a quantity you're looking for. 5x means, for a reason, the quantity you're looking for is multiplied by 5. Plus 50 means you're going to add 50 to that. And then the total is going to be 120. So they come through here and they give you a couple examples in step 2. Here's the guided practice where you're going to do algebra tiles, and you're also going to come up with working on different things. Pay attention to the examples here. You know, like number 3, they tell you to look at example 1, and number 4, they tell you to look at example 2. So go back in there and help you out. So these things really help you out and do that. Also, take a look at the lesson 6.3 background information, where I explain the difference between a one-step and a two-step equation. Hope this helps you out. Have a good day. Bye.